I mean, I'm looking forward to. I hope this does go through. I mean, my carrot on the stick is, learning new fights, killing new bosses, and stuff like that. And I mean, I can look at the logs and see that it's getting harder and harder for us to do it. Not just with people, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I mean, I, I, I don't know what to. If it seems like some people are getting burnt out, maybe, you know, in our guild particular.
I mean, I never really know why some people don't show up certain days. I get like people have things to do, but you never really know.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I mean, like at other times, like it's hard to even get 10 people on a lot to do a ZG.
Mm-hmm. Hello there, Stone.
Hello.
What's going on in the wetlands?
Nothing in the wetlands. I'm going over here to Elf World.
Hello.
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 Oh,
I think we're waiting for a couple more people. I think.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how many people are gonna come over from our side, but
Oh
we'll
yeah,
just
I
see.
think no, that might be everybody from us. Maybe one other person. I'm not sure. Hold on one sec. Let me see if they got a link. Hold on.
they should have.
Yeah, like I said, I don't really know what people do on Tuesdays, so I don't know how many people are available. Also, yeah, I don't know how many people have questions to ask, so I don't know what we're expecting.
Well, introducing people, we've got, it looks like Jess, Sasaya, Crix, myself, and Solstice in the chat. So 5 officers from Girl Talk. Solstice has a unique perspective in that she merged her guild in from Obsidian Edge and was one of the people who really facilitated that merger, so she should have a unique perspective. And then Crix and I are the GMs, co-GMs. So
Okay.
I'm the least important. I talk the most.
Well, that's basically what I do. So.
He's our guild cheerleader.
I'm the retarded mascot. Sorry, I shouldn't say that word. Sorry, I'm the special mascot.
Bridget, what am I?
I thought you were talking.
Yeah, I think special describes Soul.
It's not about how many jokes hit, it's about how many attempts you make.
Exactly, and get back up. Something. Get back up. Something.
So Siri's out, right, for this one?
Yeah, he's on vacation, I believe.
Didn't he just come back from vacation?
That was a work thing.
Ah, so he was on work vacation. Now he's back and went back on vacation.
Yeah.
Man, what the fuck? What am I doing in my life?
Right.
Well, I don't know if he enjoyed his work vacation. I didn't really ask, but
All right, you got anyone else coming over?
oh, Lax said he's on a work trip again. Um, like I said, I don't really know. So you can just start. I mean, if people come in, they come in halfway through, whatever it is.
So what is it like? What are some of the main questions or concerns you guys have for us?
Origin of the guild name.
Yeah, that's a great question. Honestly.
So,
Wow.
I'm the GM of Girl Talk. I'm Crix, and the origin of the guild name is before me. Apparently, how it happened, from what Jess tells us,
Yep.
is Beast, who was the GM before me, and all of their friends from their law firm and everything were deciding a guild name, and they all wanted some crazy names, and the one that Beast didn't want was Girl Talk, but that was the most voted, so they went with Girl Talk.
Yeah, I think they went to spite him, and so everybody clicked on Girl Talk, and it actually stuck. We were the first guild on the server, which is kind of cool. Like, we literally, pulled like copper and silver together and got the first charter signed and everything. So, kind of fun. Yeah, that's the story of Girl Talk. We've thought about changing it like 1,000 times. We just never actually did it, and now, at this point, like, people know Girl Talk, and so it's busted. Like, it's like a decent brand, and so we hate to change it now.
We were gonna change it to back when Beast was still the GM. We were gonna all G quit, remake a guild because he got banned, and we didn't have GM leadership or anything. It was just me as a officer. So we didn't have our guild bank resources. We from like the 2 molten cores we did prior. We didn't have anything. We couldn't do anything essentially. Warcraft logs, the Discord, nothing. So we were all just gonna G quit, make a new guild. We were kind of going with like Oni fans as being our new name, but he finally came back and he gave me GM leadership, all the mats and everything. That all happened. Yeah,
I should
that all
also
happened. Go ahead.
point out that this is all ancient history. This was like week 5 of the server.
Yeah, like early phase 1. Like only like I think 2 guilds on the server like even cleared molten core at that time.
We were first loose front kill, which is all that really matters, right? Loose front, so good.
True.
Yep.
And we were first Kazakh, I think. Which, I mean, this is claim to fame. It's like one of those small cities where there's just one red light. So you got to claim your Walmart. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, but the only reason we got Kazakh is because Echo went for Azurgo.
No, it's because of our superior leadership.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, we're not trying to monopolize this, so can we?
Yeah.
What would you guys like to discuss first? I guess.
I guess so. So we had a meeting in guild already, and I think most of the questions got answered. But so the kinds of things that I would be interested in are, more get an idea of y'all's flavor and what y'all think is important. But I know that there were some people that had some reservations about doing a guild merger, simply because there might be some difference in play styles. Like with Lost Souls, we have we have a few players that don't have optimum specs for rating, that sort of thing, and we're wondering if and how those people might fit into raids that Girl Talk was doing.
Well, can I ask you something on that same topic? What were the goals of Lost Souls, and like what, like just for example, like why were some of these off specs allowed in raid?
So originally when the server started, it was just how many people can you gather, right? So I wasn't the first one in the guild, or anything like that, but I got picked up, when I was doing a dungeon run as a tank. And I was like, oh, you guys need tanks? They're like, yeah, we need everything. So originally it was just, the goal to get 40 people in a raid. That's why we originally swapped, raid times, stuff like that. The goal was always to get a raid team, and you'd rather have a dedicated person than have an empty slot that you have to fill a pug with. So, for example, last raid we got some pugs. I think we had a fire mage, a red pally, which is like, it's fine. It's not the greatest thing. We can still clear bosses with it to like the level that we're at. So that's why we've never really put a huge priority on it, because beggars can't be choosers in that extent.
Right. So for instance, we do ask that our pallies go a certain spec, just the one that allows them to get the improved blessings. We do have a prop paladin, so he's like our one exception. As for like mages with AQ coming out, we would like our mages to swap over to fire because it's just going to be way more beneficial for fire and AQ than frost would be.
Mm-hmm.
For like ret paladin stuff, I mean, we've had boomkins, we've had a ret paladin before. It's nothing new to us. We would like, I mean, yes, we would prefer if people were like, if they're paladins, they would be either holy or good at prot. I mean, if a ret paladin can bring like 200 plus DPS or 300, if even, like that's fine with me. But I mean, if you got a ret paladin that's literally just auto attacking, doing 100 DPS, like you might as well just have another healer at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Um,
I get like not wanting to tell people and dictate people what they play is inadequate and not allowed.
so what I would say is we're not a hardcore sweaty guild, but we are a serious guild, and that means that we need to match the level of seriousness we need to the level of content we're doing. And that doesn't mean no meme specs, but that does mean it should be appropriate to the content. Like, for example, we do have a slot in the Tuesday Thursday raid for a shadow priest because one of them makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
We can take one prop paladin in the Monday Wednesday group.
Yeah, and we really don't have that many. Like the Ret Pally wasn't in the guild. The Fire Mage, I think, just joined the guild that night, so he wasn't really. He was a
Yeah,
plug at that point. But we do
Fire
mainly
Mage isn't even a
have.
meme spec. Like Fire Mage doesn't even count as a meme spec.
They're great. Yeah, we're all gonna be fire mage in a second, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I
and
don't.
even in MC and BWL, Fire Mage does not count as a meme spec. Like that's a legitimate choice that you could make.
Yeah. When you get the gear for it.
I mean, also I'm like that. I guess you could say like deep prod is not the optimal as well for some warrior tanks, but I mean like I've seen plenty of deep prot warriors that also work just fine. Like I know a lot of people will die by the fury prot because of everything that fury gives and everything that deep prot does not give. But I mean, like if you get, like I said, if you can make it work and it works well, like have at it. Like I'm one that is down with meme specs. It's more of a I try to make sure that it doesn't hinder the guild in what we're trying to achieve.
Now,
Okay.
we do ask that they do what it takes outside of raid time to make whatever spec they're playing work, and we're a little bit more strict on the less optimal specs in that regard. But showing up with enchants, consumables, prebis, you know, that's something that we do feel like we need to have an expectation for that to be successful beyond, MC early BWL. And that expectation is stricter on non optimal specs.
Mm-hmm.
And we're super supportive. So like when someone's working on their previous, we help everybody out. Like we've got a guild enchanter. We help people get guild enchants. We run ZGs together. Like all of the things. Like all the way down to like combat logs and trying to help people like get their optimal rotation down. Like we really try hard to help everybody out. We and develop people. So like you know we're a very friendly guild. That's what I loved about Sari when I talked to Sari, and I've been talking to him for a long time. Is like he told me how laid back you guys are. We're really laid back. Like we care about performing well, but we're also very chill. Like we're the best guild to be chill. Yeah, I don't know if there's another way to say it. Echo is, by some metrics better, but they're way not chill. They're just not that cool. And we're actually way laid back. We just like pumping. And so I think, I mean, from what I talked to Siri about, he's like, dude, this sounds like, looking in the mirror, this sounds like a great, combo. So yeah, and we really, really hope that it is because I think we bring something very symbiotic to each other. Like, it's a very symbiotic relationship. Like what we have right now is two raids that full clear Molten Core and Blackwing Lair in one night. You know, and what we want is to bring y'all in and have y'all kill them and get y'all loot. And what y'all bring to us is more people, and that's the only boss that we have difficulty killing is the roster boss, because both of our raids have like between 30 to 40 people, and so we're always short some people. And what y'all have is some people that are really cool. We have a bunch of cool people too. Like, so what we were hoping for is, you know, to all raid together to kill some bosses y'all haven't killed, and y'all would enable us to not, always be recruiting because we found some people of like mind, and we're just trying to see if, not so much if we're compatible, because from what I've talked to Siri about, it sounds like we're totally compatible. It just seems, I'm wondering if now's the time for you guys, because I know for Siri, he's he he feels like it's the time, but the whole guild has to feel that way, to see if this is the right time for us to get together.
I think there was not necessarily there was some resistance to it just because of the experience that a lot of guild members have had with previous guild mergers, and I mean I've had a similar experience that that doesn't always go as well as you might like it to, but from my point of view, it kind of seems like everybody's running into the same problem, where the server population is going down. It's not likely to spring back up magically. So, it is just a matter of when you want to do it. But a big concern some people had was not necessarily the merging, but the change in the guild time. Y'all guys, I guess, y'all run about an hour or two later than we normally run, uh, and that's kind of a non-starter for some folks. I don't know if there's really a good way around that, but how flexible are y'all's raid times? I'm guessing the answer is not much.
So there does need to be some give and take here just to make this work effectively. We can probably move a half hour earlier before we run into serious concerns with going further. So we can try and nudge the times forward. I don't think we can move forward multiple hours or anything just because people have already been established. But I think a half an hour is a fairly easy ask.
What time server time is that? I'm totally lost, guys. I'm online and then we start the raid, so I have no idea. What time is do we usually start?
Tuesday, Thursday, we do the polls at 10. The invites go out at 9:30. Monday, Wednesday is not invites go out at 9, and we do the first poll at 9:30.
And what we're saying is those times can probably come forward a half hour before we really start running into issues.
Right.
So that would put it at invites at 8:30, polls at 9, and invites at 9, polls at 9:30. Respectively.
If we moved both teams, yeah.
If we did move both teams, hopefully that would, help. Would that help?
I think it would. I mean, those times are okay for me. The start time isn't normally a problem for me. It's how late we end up running, and with our raids not necessarily making on time, we've been starting late and running late. So we've kind of already been doing the same raid times that y'all normally do.
We're pretty good about our scheduled raid time is 3 hours, and it's fairly rare for us to go over. And it's almost unheard of for us to go way over.
The first time, what am I trying to say? The most recent time and the biggest time we've ever gone over was, I think, Tuesday's night, their first night doing BWL and Molten Core in one night, and we did just 30 minutes. Night. Yeah, just the first time, and they went 30 minutes over. After that,
that's just the first time. That's just the first time.
After that, they've been managed to clearing both Molten Core and BWL in one night in 3 hours, while us doing fucking loot council and everything.
We asked Sari, we asked Sari how many officers you guys would be able to provide. I think he said 2 or 3. Like, that was one thing that made the merger with Foundation really, really great. Was they provided some people that were really wanting to put in, to help out and to like take some leadership, and they were represented well because they had some people that wanted to do it. Like, you'll be surprised. We had to basically beg every single one of our officers to be there. Most people did not want to be an officer, so
No, that's a thing here as
yeah.
well.
Okay.
Don't be
Yeah.
shocked. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we don't have any power hungry people, and we spend a metric fuck ton of time trying to make sure that everybody gets gear. Like after we join up, we'll be spending a frick ton of time making sure everybody gets reps in the raids, because like, at least until attrition catches up to us, we'll probably have to sit. Everybody's going to have to take a turn sitting, once a month and a half, or whatever the thing is, to make sure everybody gets reps. So, um, you know, we really do care about how people feel, and we're trying to get them gear and trying to get them invites.
Yeah, and as it stands right now, I mean, the two teams typically, I'd say, maybe on average, probably have 1 to 2 slots open in total. And I know there's some interest about a third team, but
So that 1 to 2 slots is before a rotating bench, and our estimate is that people would probably have to be on the bench one night a month. And that will slowly decay over time until people are able to raid every raid they want to raid.
And there's a ton of people that we have that literally have full BIS or close to it, and that would be more than happy and have been begging to sit. So that's the exciting thing. Like, people want to sit. Some people who got lucky with certain drops, they're down to sit. I know that, and there's a ton of people who just have one item they even need. Those people could sit for the whole night except for one boss if they were up for that item.
So I've been hearing a lot from our offices, so I guess I'd like to hear from the Lost Souls guys. What other topics would you like?
When do you guys?
Anybody else got anything?
When do you guys do like Nixia and ZG? How do you handle those?
So we don't set up guild times for ZG whatsoever. A lot of us have just been joining Homewreckers, ZG GDKPs. And for Ani, since recently both raid teams have been clearing everything in one night, we take their second night as just an Ani night. And if we have people who are not safe for ZG, we'll do a soft reserve, just get some people some more gear. But we don't always schedule in a ZG for any means. And with on that topic, with AQ coming out, we're gonna be rotating. The plan is to rotate Molten Core and Ani out of our designated raid nights. So Monday through Thursday, I should say, because both teams. So it would just be BWL and AQ40. Ani and MC would become an optional night for people who still need loot from like rag, or we need more bindings and stuff like that.
Do you know what day that might be?
We haven't thought about it a lot because we still got time until AQ comes out. It's somewhere along the lines of either a Friday or a Saturday.
We are going to, in all likelihood, put up a poll for that and find the
Right.
date for the largest number of players.
Most decisions we do in the guild, if it does it revolves around a team. For instance, Tuesday, Thursday, when they first joined us, Foundation, we had their raid team as a soft reserve team, and they started to see that this sucks because there's just people getting gear and they're getting lucky rolls, and like 1 to 2 people are getting 4 items. So after about 2 or 3 weeks, and they started getting progression, they started clearing BWL. We brought it up to them again. Hey, do you want to come to Loot Council with us? To the same system we're doing with our group. And we sat down with them as we're sitting down with you guys, and we discussed everything in our decisions with Loot Council and how we did it. And we even brought on two of their members, Solstice and Majima, as Loot Council helpers, to give their group a voice as well, so they don't feel like they're being ignored.
Yeah, that is something that I would like to emphasize that there will be Lost Souls people on this loot council, and we will ensure that it's done fairly properly. And when they're talking about a Lost Souls member for loot, they will be listened to.
And fun fact, we use RC Loot Council. It's actually fully transparent. So when we make a vote, if anyone makes a vote, you see that vote. You see what they have equipped, what they're going in for. Every single person in the raid, the big old box pops up and blocks everybody from seeing anything. Meaning blocks you from seeing the actual game because you're looking at all the loot shit. So like, you'll see if someone votes for you, against you, everything. Everything. There's full transparency.
I guess, do people have other questions or things that they would like discussed?
Can you
I'd like to make
explain
sure
that a
we
little
have
bit
the-
more? Because we don't use that at all.
What our loot council decisions or RC loot council?
Just how RC Loot Council works for people that don't know.
Okay, so
Should we stream it or?
well, we're not on a raid or anything. Well, we're gonna be doing. Sezia likes to record our content on his YouTube. We're gonna give you guys a link to it, so if you want to watch our raid tonight from Molten Core, that gives you an idea of our atmosphere and everything, and you'll see RC Loot Council itself in action. But for people who want to hear about it now, is when loot drops, the master looter decides we'll put it up for just like everyone to roll need, greed, off spec, or pass, and you can put a note with it to like, oh, this is for my fire resist gear, or I'm going to be using this for my AOE set. This is for my off spec, stuff like that.
This is
And-
3 set, 5 set, 8.
Correct. And it shows everyone. We have it so everyone sees our votes. Only officers of the Loot Council can vote. So that's all our officers and me, because I'm the GM and I main tank both teams. They can see who's voting for who, for what item. And it shows you what everyone is wearing. It shows you who is passing, who is needing on it, and everything. We take in consideration of how many items people have received. We take in consideration of like, this is going to be really good for the raid team. If like the first DFT will go to a tank, or Maladath will go to a tank. Like it shows pure transparency in all the decisions and all the loot that's going out. And we do try to make sure we're very fair with the loot, and like not one mage is getting Mind Tap, Shadow Flame, Nel's Tier all in one night. We don't do shit like that. We rotate it around and we try to do what's best for the raid team at that time. Like all our warriors at the early game for Molten Core, if you got a Brutality Blade, you were not getting another weapon until every other warrior got a main hand, because it just wasn't fair. So we wanted to make sure that we're all in the same progression of gear, with our tanks a little bit further or our healers a little bit further where it's needed for like what raid content we're doing.
And just as like a side note for what goes into the Loot Council decisions, it's a combination of things. It's attendance, it's performance, mainly for GPS. It's current gear. It's a little bit of round robin. It's a bunch of things, and we spend quite a bit of time going over big items ahead of time each week. And plan for future content as well.
Right.
Keeping everybody happy is huge. We try to keep people happy. We try to do what's best for the guild as a whole. But we constantly are, trying to keep everybody happy.
Yeah, like all the officers and I get together on Sunday around 8:30 server time, and we decide and we go over our list and who's gotten what, who's getting what, who's now up for not set item. Does this priest have 3 set? Does this priest still need 3 set? Who's getting the next tier 2 as our hunters? Who's getting next tier 1 as our hunter? Stuff like that.
Does that answer the question on Loot Council? Is there anything more on that topic before we move on?
Yeah, if you guys have any like questions or even concerns that you have, or just want to know something, feel free to ask.
So the first, and I think like the only real one that came up for us was, we know that some people want to do a 3rd raid team. We know that came up at least once. and I'm just gonna shoot that down right now. That doesn't help anyone. A third rate team is off the table, honestly. What we're trying to do is just make sure we're helping each other out and making sure everyone is rating, everyone gets to see the content and everything. But a third rate team is just way too much more logistics
And
and everything.
here's
And
another.
also, it doesn't help you guys. Like, you guys
Right.
change the name, and then we are not able to effectively support it. We don't have alts that could come into that team. We don't have administrative bandwidth to effectively support it.
It
So
would
it will change the name and not fix any problems.
it would essentially make it so that we have 3 raids that all have 30 to 38 players in them, and that sucks. Like, we're still in that roster boss, place where we're, just short every raid. So that would just be a bad idea.
Is there any other topic that someone would like to raise?
So between both your raids, is there one that needs more support, should we say, for people over, another? Or are you looking at kind of splitting us 50-50?
The Thursday raid team will be able to accommodate more players. They won't be able to accommodate everyone, but you can probably do a 60-40 or a 70-30. So the players who care deeply about staying together, staying with friends, if you want to prioritize that, coming to Tuesday, Thursday is probably a good way to do so.
Yeah, because I know we got a couple, some couples and things like that. So I'm sure they're gonna want to, obviously stay
Absolutely.
together. So okay.
The best we could do for that is we can give it an effort to like try to accommodate everyone as the best we can. But in all honesty, everyone knows you can't please everyone. Like someone's feathers down the road will get ruffled.
I've been through, multiple on both sides of it, and
Oh yeah, so have I.
it's the bottom line is for the Lost Souls guys in here, some people aren't going to be happy if this goes through, and I'm sure there's going to be people on your side that aren't going to be happy too, because potential maybe losing their raid spot or whatever it is. What happens is but I for me personally, I'm looking forward to this. This is Pappy, by the way.
Hi.
So it's frustrating trying not being able to raid with the same people. Is my opinion.
I get it. I totally understand that. Like people, I have plenty of friends who play retail, and when we raided together, it was because we were friends and we were raiding together. That was why he was raiding. And now that I'm playing Season of Mastery, he fucks off on retail. Like he won't do it. He keeps mentioning that he wants to raid and whatnot. I'm like, but I can't help you there. Like I get the whole want for people to raid together. I totally do.
Yeah, my perspective throughout all this is, we talk about like Lost Souls having roster issues. It's better to be able to raid with something rather than nothing. So it might not be, exactly what we want. It's not the perfect solution. It's gonna have some some issues maybe along the road, but it's better than not raiding at all. And just being stuck to ZG because we can fill that raid.
And
Right.
hopefully you guys I think we're really gonna like you, and I think y'all are really gonna like us, and y'all be like, I hope that we play in multiple expansions together, because I know that the people that we got from Foundation very quickly were like, oh shit, you guys are awesome, and we love them, and now we're all like one, so there's just one guild, Girl Talk, and so that's what I really hope. I hope that y'all can continue to play with the people that y'all love, and that y'all make some new people that y'all love. That's what I want, so that we're all just tight. So
Yeah, a lot of Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and the thing to remember is that while we may get split up amongst the raid groups, when AQ comes out, oftentimes my experience when MC gets moved to an off night, he kind of takes both raids and you kind of get a 50-50 split to fill it up again. So you get to then reconnect with some of those individuals that you maybe leveled with or whatnot. So it's kind of nice, that the way that works out.
Yeah. Molten Core will more than likely become people who need the gear will get the pryode over the people who are just there to help carry. Because we want to try to Molten Core has became, for us at least, a sorry, I was gonna text. Molten Core has became for us more of a filler. Be like, if say you don't get gear from BWL, the items you really wanted, here are some items from Molten Core to help cull you over until BWL gear drops.
Yeah, but we're really looking for a few more key items in Molten Core, and an awful lot is going to get shredded for us and would still be solid upgrades for you guys, and we would like to get you in for it.
Yeah, and I know that because we need those upgrades, Lost Souls is probably going to keep running Molten Core. Not as Girl Talk, but we'll still be running it. And as they say, some of them don't want to raid if they have all their items and stuff like that. So we'll always find our way back. It's not going to be an issue. Even if we're split in some raids, maybe it changes some weeks and the rosters go on different days or whatever that is. But we'll always be playing with at least still some of us. And, like they're saying, they're not bad people. Right? I don't think I've ever really had a bad interaction with anybody from Girl Talk. I can't say that about the other guilds, but
Right.
I don't really ever hear any oh, this person from Girl Talk is bad.
Sorry, go ahead, keep going.
No, that's it.
I was gonna say the only person you'll probably only hear bad things about Girl Talk is Tangy, because he has he's my biggest fan apparently. He used to be in our guild, and raid positions were people need to do their shit to keep their spots. And we were trialing someone, and he got really upset he wasn't in a permanent position, and then he joined from the ashes, and now he still bad mouths Girl Talk 24/7. I got screenshots of him talking to local just because I'm around.
It's sad.
Hey man, we had Tayson in our guild for a while, so.
Tayson? Who was Tayson?
I guess you guys don't look for group for a lot.
Oh, is he a warrior? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
He's opinionated, but I guess my other question is you guys mentioned help with people's specs, rotation, stuff like that. Do you guys then have class leaders, or how do you guys handle that?
So yes and no, kind of. Bro can take this.
Yeah, so we have a representative of every class in our officer course, so there is someone who you can go to for help, and we also have individual class channels in the Discord. So yes, we have knowledgeable people who can be reached out to and provide that help with specs, rotation, log analysis. What am I doing right? What do I need to improve? We also have a guild bank that is, vibrant. You can request things and actually get them. So help with some enchanting mats, or if you're short on consumes, those can be accommodated. That's the function of the guild bank.
Important question. As a holy paladin, do I got to wear the dress?
Always.
Damn it.
I mean, we have
There's one
Pentagon.
exception.
If you've seen Pentagon and Stormwind, you can have an RP set if you want, for all I care. That guy has a straight Rep Paladin Judgment set. He would just slow walks around Ironforge in 24/7.
I mean, if you want to use Red Dragon Scale Protector instead of Robes of the Exalted as a holy paladin, I'm not going to.
If you want,
Red Dragon Scale Breastplate, rather. I'm not going to rip that to shreds. Because
if you want to
it's
take off your
legitimate.
robe of the Exalted and put on robes of the Guardian Saint, that's okay with me.
Stone, do you have any of those?
No, I have none of those.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Stone just really does not like the dress.
I know. I get it. I mean, we also have people in our guild who are a little weird about that. about like, oh well, this doesn't look good. I'm not gonna wear it. And I tell them like, as long as you can perform well, like I won't bat an eye at it. Like, but if you're dragging ass, like goddamn, like put on the fucking dress.
How do you feel about a tank without a Mira song?
What are you using as your offhand, and what is your race?
I'm a human with a bash
Okay.
gooder.
I mean,
Doesn't
Bash
stack with
Gooder
Fairy
is
Fire, right? The Umid,
okay.
Yeah,
the Umid buff doesn't stack with Fairy Fire, right?
No.
No.
I don't know.
I'd have
It
to
stacks
look it
with
up.
Sunder though. If that.
Right, but the fact that it doesn't stack with Fairy Fire makes it pretty not good in a raid setting.
Yeah.
So we would be happy to run you through the Skull of Mira's song.
No, I
if that's
deleted
the
that
hang
shit.
up.
I just don't like it.
I can help you get a better weapon though.
No, yeah, I'm
Pretty
just
close
waiting for
around.
like any raid weapon. But
Hey,
no.
we literally were giving out brutality blades like just left and right. Like there's a raid that we have where we've gotten like 10 brutality blades. So like we can get you good stuff. Like we had a Viscag that just dropped a went to an alt. Like so
Name of the Deathbringer.
yeah, yeah, it was a Deathbringer, yeah. So I mean we can get you some good weapons, some raid weapons.
Yeah, I've just been waiting. That's why I was like, I'll get some, but never really happened. And we do loot a little bit weird. Like we've just been giving stuff to tanks if they can't hold threat, and I can slightly always hold threat, so it's not a total problem. So then we gear out our DPS. So that's why I don't have anything.
Yeah, we definitely value gearing the tanks because they do have to hold threat against DPS who are pumping. So we have a small but real bias towards gear the tank first.
Yeah, like we got a Maladeath drop, and I wasn't like the biggest fan of it, but it was like not the end of the world. But we rolled that because it was a soft reserve night. But I personally think we should have like reserved that to tanks still to soft reserve, but just because we do it a little bit differently. But I agree that I think the tanks should kind of be made well. Not get every item, but pretty nice.
Oh, pretty much everything that's a raid item has a place in terms of maximizing your role. You know what I mean? So like we would never give a mish to a pally unless every mage and warlock had one. You know what I mean? Or like a Maladeath would always go to a tank first.
Yeah, I just say that because, for the people in the call from the Lost Soul side, it will be a little bit different, and you may not agree with like every single thing, but from what they're saying, right, you can understand where, like, oh well, this class benefits it from the most. It's the biggest upgrade for them, so surely we should give it to them and not necessarily just free roll as we do with some items.
It's also worth noting that outside of mid-raid, anytime we're not actively in a raid, complete open door policy for loot. You can talk to myself or any other officer. You can get a candid expression of where you stand, what you need to improve on. We don't promise loot to people because we just find that doesn't end well. But you can get a candid assessment of your performance and a candid explanation for any loot council decision.
You tell him, kid.
Do you guys have any questions about loot still, or anybody? If you have a specific item, anything you got, like, I can't really think of any, but anything off the top of your head?
Like I'll give you an example for casters. Like so for mages and warlocks, like pairing a one-hand and an offhand is always the most DPS. And you'll have some people that don't care about min-maxing to that degree, which it's small but it's still there. So we have some people that just will take two-hand staffs, and then some people that wait for one specific one-hands. You know what I mean? So like, that's just an example of how some loot might go for casters.
I guess how do you guys how do you guys work with the feedback if someone says, you know, I want this loot, whether it is good for them or it's better for a different class? I guess how would you respond to if someone was like, oh, I just really like this item, I think it's cool.
It's a factor that the Loot Council takes into account, so we will have conversations with people. It's one factor among others. So, if you're saying that you want something but it really shouldn't go to you, then the Loot Council will have a bumper against that. But if you're saying, hey, give me chromatic boots and I can chill on a weapon, the Loot Council will consider things like that.
I mean, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, is there something like maybe something specific you're thinking of, like?
I'm just trying to think of questions people might have because they're not saying a whole lot, but I know they have questions.
Like, has there been something that dropped on your side that went to the wrong place? You might have thought.
Yes, that has happened.
So why don't you
Stone, what do you
hold
got?
on?
Stone?
Yeah, what give us like what the item, like what the situation was, and we'll tell you like how we would have handled it. How about that?
Soul, do you want to share? I mean, there've been a few. I mean, and there's some potentials that are going to come up. For example, Maladeth.
They just went over that one.
And for example, we've had some cauterizing bands wander out of the guild.
Yeah, but that's not because of the Loot Council. That's
Well, no,
just
but that
life.
could be a seniority.
Yeah, but
is
they
highly
were
put on that list for that.
they
it could
were
be measured
senior.
differently.
See, this is what the merger is going to prevent. If we're filling 2 guilds full, 40 girl talk, 40 girl talk, things aren't going to get out of the guild. They're going to stay into the guild. The reason why things are leaving right now in Lost Souls is because we have to fill 10 spots on a regular with people outside the guild. And to be able to get those people, we can't reserve the best things. We have to entice people to come in. And so that's how we lose items.
So you're saying
specifically with the cauterizing band, what they're talking about is we've lost cauterizing bands from people in the guild that eventually left. That's what he's bringing up.
Yeah, I'm saying that's not really an issue. That
Yeah.
just, you can't control that. It just happens. If somebody's got to leave the guild for whatever reason, and they happen to have gotten loot, you can't control that.
Okay. So here I think I know how y'all would go on this, but let's say we got a healer that has a cauterizing band, and another one
there.
drops. I am. I'm totally going there. And we get somebody that decides they need 2 cauterizing bands. I'm assuming y'all attempt to make sure everybody gets loot. I mean, I think y'all said as much, right?
So we were actually in that situation last week. It was with our druids. We had a druid that we had one player that was going for a second cauterizing band, and we had. Actually, bro, you probably know this better than me.
Yeah, so we do try and rotate the loot, but that is on, a whole character basis. You have 2 ring slots. If you want to fill a second with a cauterizing band, that's something that could be considered, but it's not going to be, you get a cauterizing band and then you immediately get a second. It's going to be, you get a cauterizing band, everyone else gets, a healing upgrade, and then the best upgrade is really to give you the second, and then everyone else gets another healing upgrade again. So
makes sense.
If it really is the biggest upgrade to upgrade the second ring to a cauterizing band, we will do it, and we in fact did do that once.
Yeah, it just happened last week.
But it's not a case of we will give you back-to-back cauterizing bands with no other healing drops in between.
And it's the same thing with the BWL gem, right?
Right.
Yeah, and just as a note to that, part of the reason that that happened was because we have plans for other people to get some items, so it didn't really matter where it went.
Yep.
Yeah, so this was one of our top long-term healers who had been around since Moses, and he also hadn't gotten an item in a while. So when the item dropped, giving him the second cauterizing ban, I believe was the correct decision.
Right.
But
It was one of our druids that we funneled tier 2 with, and the only other thing he's really received from main spec was a cauterizing band early on. So since he was the designated tier 2 druid, he hasn't received any upgrades. And the only reason he was the designated tier 2 druid was because he was the only druid in that raid team at the time. So if we didn't give it to him, it was going to be rot. So he hasn't received anything. Was it? No, I'm pretty sure it was Mundra, wasn't it?
You're thinking of Mundra, but the ring went to the dump.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
But he's up for something else, so that's
Yeah.
why that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, well, also with RC Loot Council, it logs all the history of people and what they've received in their in whatever session we have loaded. So we can go back as far as we've done Loot Council with RC Loot Council. We can see who has received what and where it is. So that helps us out a lot, and it tracks like your most recent 30 days of items, I think it is, automatically. So we have the visual to see what this player has received in the last couple weeks. So we know. And it shows us everyone in the raid who has RC Loot Council, everyone's items, everything. Like, it's very, very helpful visually.
I we're starting to get short on a scheduled time. Is there any other topics that anyone from Lost Souls would like to see addressed, or is there any other concerns that you have that would keep this merger from going forward and expeditiously?
Yeah, like if there's things that you think might go poorly, but you're kind of questioning if they would, feel free to ask anything, because that could be something we work on if we do decide to merge, you know? Like any question, really, that you got.
Just real quick, I guess. Would you talked about how many slots you had available in your raid teams? Like right now, how many free spots? I thought I heard like 1 to 2 per team. Is that close, or is it?
So we also have some alts that would like to not raid 4 days a week, right? So they want to some of, like, for example, like a lot of the people want to just raid 2 nights a week, but we've been raiding 4 nights a week so that we can fill the raid with guildies. So like those people would be happy to not raid, like, so basically we want to accommodate all of your players and have minimal sitting. That's the goal, right? So yeah, but it would free up, because we're missing spots at some point. Say we're missing 2 spots, and say we have 5 alts, and then we say we times 2 because we got 2 raids like that. Sorry, I interrupted you, bro.
Yeah, so Cecia's rough napkin math is, 15 players before a rotating bench that we can fit in with just the slots we have, plus the people who really are there to help the guild instead of because they really want to be raiding that much. And then, a rotating bench plus, call outs every week, 2 or 3 people are going to call out for one reason or another. We may only have to bench people. Our napkin math is no more than 1 raid a month, and we would ideally like to be significantly less often than that.
And there's people who want to sit, like I want to sit, like, sit me, like,
Yeah.
for real.
So
Yeah.
basically, what's happening is like there's a bunch of chefs working overtime in the kitchen on alts. The people that have a bunch of alts are kind of filling in all these spots. So it's like there would be more than 1 or 2 per group for sure.
I guess one question I think somebody asked last night. What about class-wise? Is there anything, or is it really kind of just a good mix of the alts for that, or is it like, oh, all the alts are healers, something like that?
I mean, I can't speak in that perspective because all I fucking play is warrior. I literally raid on 3 warriors. But for other people, we have, like, for Pup Pig, for instance, she has a mage, hunter, priest she plays on. She's leveling a paladin. We have Sezia, who's in here. He's double paladin mage. Solstice is priest mage. Brill is priest mage. Jess is hunter rogue. Like, we have a fair amount of people who play off specs, like different classes. As for the raids and whatnot, raid 2 is lacking like warriors. Like all the warriors in that raid, unironically, are like edge master warriors, like axes and daggers. So that one could use like a lot of sword warriors. Both teams are missing like some paladins here and there. But for like sitting people out and everything, it wouldn't be like, oh well, just these classes are getting sat for these classes to come in. It'd be like everyone would be up for it, because we want to try to make sure everyone has the same availability, same time in the raids as everyone else, I guess.
Yeah, and another thing is that very often people will have something else going on that they really would like to see too, but they're showing up to the guild raid out of loyalty, so we're not trying to struggle through it down a person, and being able to let those people go do whatever it is they need to do has value, both in terms of people sit on the bench less, and in terms of people can put real life first, which is how it should be.
Anybody else?
No, I mean, I most of my questions I think are going to be answered. I'm going to watch your guys' stream and get some answers there, and I think then I'll be good.
Yeah, I'll make sure to the only people who know that we have Lost Soul members watching the stream are the people in this Discord right now. So it's not a bias style of the raid. So it's an actual from our raid members, aside from us who know. So you get like the full availability of it.
Yeah, that's great. One thing, I don't know if like it's not gonna work out probably at all, but I wanted to offer you guys, if any of you want to come in our raid tomorrow. It looks like we're getting less people than normal for a Wednesday, which is weird. Just throwing that out there.
Maybe a lot of our characters will be locked because with this week being all fucking weird as it is, we have to spread all our raids out. So normally tonight would be Blackwing Lair, Molten Core, but tonight is now, since AQ event is releasing on Thursday. Tonight is just Molten Core for the Tuesday-Thursday team.
Because we have to do it in a certain order. Yeah,
exactly. We're spreading it out. So Thursday for our Scarab Lord, who is going to be Brillian, the only person who really in our guild who like wants to actively do it. I'd love to do it, but I'm not going to force my guildies to burn out themselves and help me out. I'll do it on my own little time if I do it. We're doing it so Thursday will be the Tuesday-Thursday run for his priest, so he can get the quest, get up to Broodlord's Head, and do it that night. And then Monday, he's going to bring his priest in for Chronic for Dummies or Ragnaros. So we're just trying to give him the biggest lead as he can get with our availability.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I'm just saying, if you got like some people with thirds or fourths, if they're, if they raid every day, I don't know. I was just throwing the offer out there.
Yeah, I'll ask and let them know that you guys have some spots that need to be filled, probably.
Yeah, so just so you guys can check us out, we can check you out, get a little familiar.
Hell yeah, I'd like to watch the stream at the very least.
What time is this raid?
So we do 8 to 11, Eastern.
The server? Oh, so that's server.
Yes, Wednesdays and Thursdays. So it would be before your raid a little bit. So, well, obviously, you can't do both, but if you
Yeah,
just want to watch it.
I think honestly the biggest hustle, the biggest issue people are gonna have if this when this does go through, if this does go through, I guess is the word, is gonna be the days and the raid times for people coming over. And I get like, well, it's not my raid times, I can't make. I guess I'm not gonna do it, and that sucks. Like, because there are gonna be some people falling out from it. Like, you can't avoid it. Like I think it was Pappy saying earlier, mergers are fucking sloppy. Like I've personally have never been in a 100% clean merge, and that just comes with the territory.
Yeah. That said, I think it does make sense in this situation, and
Well-
they are. It's very possible to get a merger that is a net positive, and I think this one will be one of them.
So Mark Twain says that Mark Twain's quote is, "I do not know the key to success, but the key to failure is surely trying to please everyone." So like, we're never gonna be able to make everybody happy, but it is important to us to try to make as many people happy as we can. And so, a successful merger is not necessarily a merger where everyone is happy, but it's where you try really hard to make the most people happy. And I think that's what we can do here.
Yeah, I think we can get a lot of people in both guilds rating long term, seeing all the content, seeing AQ40 and Nax in a situation that they can be successful in.
Yeah, and it's like what Sari and I were explaining last night. You know, if we can't fill the raid, then nobody raids. If most people can merge over and everything works out, you know, at least most people are raiding, right? So, like they're saying, it's going to be a little bit sloppy, and there might be some things that are good and some things that are bad. But at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people still raiding is much better than, you know, us slowly, you know, maybe losing like a person a week or so, and then eventually we can't raid at all. So that's why, you know, the original idea for the merger came up, and as you can see, it does seem like mentality-wise things are pretty similar, and you know that Girl Talk would be a good fit for the people of Lost Souls, because Sari's been talking to, you know, all the guild leaders. There's some he likes, some he doesn't like, and you know this one just it looks like a good fit based off of how everything is run.
Yeah, I remember early on when you guys were raiding, I think, who was it? Bane, when he was still playing with us on his druid, was in one of your early molten cores. And I just, I started whispering Sari and just trying to help him out the best I can from the stream, giving him all the boss strategies I could remember from us. That's kind of that's kind of, go ahead.
I ranked with Sari, dude. I mean, I just love you guys. I love y'all's like vibe. I don't know, like we just wouldn't fit with an Echo type vibe. We're way too like, you know, chilled, laid back, and you know, and we like to pump, but we're chill, and they're kind of high strung, intense for no reason type thing. This, you know, Lost Souls seems like we're kindred spirits here.
Anybody got any last minute questions, comments?
Yeah, I have a comment. I just wanted to say thank you guys for coming in here and explaining like what you guys are all about and answering our questions. I think it was extremely informative, and thank you.
No
Yeah,
problem
thanks
at
for
all.
having us.
We try to make everything as transparent as we can with our raid decisions, our guild decisions, everything. I mean, I won't lie, there have been one or two situations in our loot council where it got a little fucky, mostly because we invited the warrior named Scorn, and that threw a wrench into everything.
Oh yeah, he was a bad apple.
Yes, but he is now an Echo and not with us, and God bless their souls.
Yeah, I mean, every loot system, there's going to be a couple of items that you want back. We're no different. I think we've done a good faith effort, and I think overall we've done okay by our people.
I guess I do have one question. So right, I'm the guy with the binding, so I can't play with the other tank, and that's like I don't, you know, that's obviously fair. That makes sense.
We do not have an unpit binding in the guild.
Yeah, I was just thinking, for people that maybe don't know how like the whole logistics would work, but how would the people be split up based off of that, right? Like if some mages have, let's say, or some casters have a mage blade, and some don't, do those kind of stick together?
We wouldn't do it for something as simple as a mage blade. For bindings, we would adjust the rate to make sure every single binding has a good home.
Mm-hmm.
But there are going to be casters with mage blades, and there are going to be casters, with. We're actually at the position where we're looking to upgrade a lot of mage blades into Claws of Chromagus and Staff of the Shadow Flames.
Okay.
Like
But
if you see, in one of the raids that you typically don't raid in, that like for example Toep, like Toep literally is just freaking rot in one of our
So is
raids.
Perdition.
Yeah, Perditions as well. Like there's a ton of it's what the heck just happened? Is this really gonna get disenchanted type shit? You'll want to switch over to the other raid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But more importantly, the binding has to be finished. You know what I mean? That's a big, huge, thing.
Just so you have one binding?
Yeah, so I have the right from Gar. So I figured like I would be getting some other tank that needs it. Because in our guild, our tanks, we have a Prot Paladin and a Feral Druid. And I assume you don't really want to give it to the Prot Paladin?
Funny thing you say that, because he's getting one.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it was a question that I brought up to myself. Where does the third one go?
Right. So for Tuesday, Thursday, we brought in a warrior named Pascal. He was very good, but apparently his health hasn't been good. That's what we were told. So he hasn't been here. He was the designated binding for that team because I have one on my main warrior.
So to answer your question, we do not have an unpaid binding. Like has a completed Thunder Fury, we do not have any other bindings in the guild. So your whatever raid you wound up in, which we would prefer you to probably wind up in Tuesday, Thursday, because we have a strong binding candidate Monday, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
You would get the binding to finish your Thunder Fury.
But there would need to be somebody with me in case the right drops again.
Yeah,
right. That
would probably
that is
be
the same.
Paladin.
Right, that's the same team our Prot Paladin plays in.
Okay.
So
and
he's
excellent. He's not like the other Prot Paladins. He doesn't sleep with you on the first date. He's good.
Oh no, ours is good too, for sure.
Hell yeah.
Dwarf is a legend.
Hell yeah.
He tanks all of our AoEs.
I was gonna say he can do pretty good holding threat off of me, and I'm one of the higher threat people in our guild. So,
dude, that's a solid recommendation.
Yeah, like I've played with bad Prot Paladins. I played with good Prot Paladins, and it's huge difference.
Yeah, I played with a Rep Paladin last night. His name was Stonefoot, and he's a healer. So
Yes, you played with a future Holy Paladin named Stonefoot. Got it?
well, no, he is a Holy Paladin. He respec last night. What did you do? 80 DPS on Hakar?
I don't know. It was ridiculous. They said, "Hey, we need another DPS." Hey, Stonefoot, I'll
we
pay
had
your
6
respec.
healers. That's too many.
I was like, okay, I'll go.
I don't know. I'm a fan of taking far more healers to ZG than most people think is sane.
That's because you're a fucking doomsday prepper and you hate meme specs, unlike me.
And in any case, are there anything else that we're starting invites for a raid? We will. What's the best way actually to stream this?
Shazia can just give the link for his YouTube in one of the channels or to Soul of Iron.
Yeah,
Oh, you just put it in
just
the
toss
general chat. Yeah.
Okay, I'll post it in a bit. I gotta get.
And is that a YouTube stream or is that gonna be a video?
YouTube stream?
Okay.
But it is recorded as a video, so you can go back later.
Yep, we do it with our PTRs, which, by the way, we are gonna try to do PTR this Thursday. If you have anyone who wants to do PTR AQ on Thursday, if it's not locked, we'll be doing it probably. What do we got planned for Thursday? BWL?
I mean, this
Uh,
is worth it. Like,
I'm hoping the
I
few
think
does
this is
close.
BW well into.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Fuck, never mind then.
Yeah, we did do PTR and we killed like 5 of the bosses in AQ, so that was
Yeah, we got to Twin Imps and we had to deal with that fun stuff.
yeah. So
We've seen
we're out
the
here having fun.
yep. We've seen the hard modes. We've seen all that shit. Scare 'em as a joke.
Last call for any questions, concerns, anything that you think would be preventing this. And one question for you guys is, what kind of a timeline are you looking for?
That would be a Sari question, really.
Sari had mentioned that if everything went well, he was thinking about doing the big swap on Friday, is what he told me. And I don't know if he's still on that or not. But I also know that I'd really love for y'all to join the Discord and sign up for the raids, so we can kind of get an idea. Because, the rosters are going to get easier to do, but they'll be harder early on. And so the more time we have to make the roster, we can make the most people happy. So.
Yeah, like we can't like. So if this does go through and everything, like we can't stress enough like how important it is for people to sign up for their raids.
Yeah, we're not the greatest with signups, but
Oh, trust me, I have my off tank.
like,
Dude, my off tank has not signed up for a single raid this entire fucking time in Psalm.
Wait, to be
Nice.
fair, we have a history of putting the sign-up sheets like a day before the raid, and then bitch, nobody signed
not
up.
lately though.
I generally will get the signups out on the weekends, like Friday, Saturday, because Sunday is when we're getting all the officers, like I said earlier, get together and talk about raid and who's getting what and everything. All right, but like Brill was saying, we need to go hop over and get this raid going. The stream will be sent to you shortly.
Yeah, like Random Age said, thank you guys for all coming over and spending the time.
No problem.
Thanks for having us,
Good
guys.
luck,
All right, thanks.
Really
Later.
appreciate it. I hope it works out because you guys sound cool. So, talk to y'all later.
See you. Okay. So they're all gone right now, unless they're using somebody's name, which I doubt they would. You guys want to talk about anything?
I mean, I think obviously, like, for the decision on that, we're gonna have to wait until.
Yeah. I'll talk with Sari when he comes back.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying too to discuss with some other people who weren't here.
Mhm.
You know, fill him in, and then you know, I mean, my personal thing is if we're gonna do it, let's hurry up and do it.
Yeah. So, I was recording the whole thing to show to Sari. I might show it to everybody. I don't know. I don't know if that's weird or not. I don't usually like recording things and like giving it to people without asking them beforehand.
Could you edit out the cauterizing ban comment that Stonefoot had to put in there?
Again, that whole thing though is a byproduct in my mind of the fact that we have to plug people and open it up.
I don't think we. I think we only lost. I think they all went to guild members and they left.
Yeah,
I think
they did.
that
Well,
happened.
no, Seth hasn't left, right?
Yeah,
He's
Seth,
the only
Seth
one.
is still there, and
He's got
Cost
2 of
is
4.
coming back. Am I right, boys?
Yeah, Cost is coming back. Yeah.
And so is
I hope Cost does. I mean, I always thought he was a good healer.
I mean, I heard he's playing other WoWs, so it seems like he might have got burnt out.
yeah,
Maybe
he's
he'll
not
come
coming
back.
I mean, yeah, they could come back for like, oh, AQ, maybe they like it, but I don't know. You can never expect it. But yeah, like, do you guys have any like, I don't know, things you like, things you didn't like? Do you hate them? Do you love them?
Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I think. I really don't want to wear the damn dress.
Well, okay, we'll just look up whatever else they talked about, and maybe it's not a dress. Do you remember any of those words?
I'm sure I can go look those up. I mean, I, I also heard, you know, they're going to do it based on, you know, how the numbers work out. You know, if I can't put out healing numbers, well, then maybe I need to go find the dress.
Well, no. So like, that's just loot council is everything, right? It's what I tried to explain to people for days and days and days, and everybody was just like, "You suck." But loot council considers everything. You know, whether you... Well, their loot council might be different, right? I'm more biased in my councilies. Like, for example, you know, the people that farm jujus. I like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, loot council, I mean, if you're doing it right, just because you have somebody show up once a month and they're your top parser, you don't give them, you know, something over your, let's say, your number 3 parser, same class, but they show up every week. I would prioritize that person because they're going to be there every week and they're going to, you know, benefit the guild more. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and like our loot council didn't work out perfectly, but it never will. Just like the same reason they said soft reserve didn't work for the guild that came from Obsidian Edge. Certain drops happen and certain drops don't. And when you have people reserving things, or you have certain people in priorities for certain things, and they drop funky ways, the system looks terrible, but the inputs aren't necessarily terrible. Like, I'll defend our loot council to the end of the day. I think it was good. It just, you know, it didn't work out. I don't think it was on our bad person. I mean, maybe there was a couple like issues here and there, but you know, they seem to have a similar loot council, but they also clear a lot more, so they're getting a lot more drops. So
Speaking of
that
drops,
kind of evens it out, you know? It makes it easier.
Speaking of drops, I remember the words that were said now. I remember the words that were said. Those were words that were said. That's an AQ drop.
Okay, well, look for a different one. I don't know.
Didn't he say red scale breastplate? Like
yes, he did.
Dragon scale?
Dragon scale.
Dragon scale breastplate.
Yeah, he said the shield first, and I was like, what?
I'm like, okay, great.
I was like, Stone's got that shit. Is that really a chest item?
I'll go nude and wear a shield.
Well, yeah. So look up the dragon scale, red dragon scale chest plate or something.
It's got 2 less healing. It doesn't have any intellect or spirit. That's probably the main.
That's
my problem with any of these best in slot lists is that
I know you have 7 piece. We know.
I do. I got 7 piece. But the one thing is that, you know, all the plus healing in the world doesn't help you if you end up getting clapped and you're, you know, sitting there licking the floor.
That's where I would ask whoever their paladin class leader is, you know, if we do merge, just ask him. Be like, yo, I don't want to wear a dress. Can I like fuck around and find out with something else? And if they say no, then you just do it. And if they say yes, then, you know, at least it's better than never asking.
They're gonna be fine, you know, if the numbers are there. And if the numbers aren't there, and putting on a dress makes numbers happen.
Well, no, but at the same time, ask, because you always ask me, and I'm like, I don't fucking know, but ask them how to actually heal. Because I tell you shit, and Bridget's like, nah, bruh, and I'm like, yeah. With an asterisk.
You're losing 5 intellect and 11 spirit. I mean, that's not a huge. I mean, spirit really doesn't matter to you that much. So
no.
It's just a 5 intellect. I mean, that's not going to affect your numbers that bad. You're losing and plus 2 healing.
But is that not a dress?
It's okay. It's
I don't know.
Male. It's a male.
I haven't looked at it.
So you're going from 89 armor to 360 armor.
Aren't there logs?
So where's that drop from?
Couldn't you go look at their logs and see what their healers are doing?
Yes. No, but you know, it's hard. It's hard to tell from logs sometimes. Oh, get that shit crafted, Stone! I gave you a fucking recipe. You can make bank from that shit.
Now I gotta make the bank. Yep.
You still got 48 gold, right?
And I think, I mean, I got no problem, sitting out some raids until I can, farm up what I need to
If it's
farm
just a
up.
pattern.
Yeah,
Easy
I
climb.
mean,
It drops from Blackrock Spire, so maybe somebody has it. General Drac.
It's dragon. Is it dragon scale?
Yeah, red dragon scale breastplate.
Ask Dorf.
it is on the AH.
Yeah, Dorf has dragon scale leatherworking, so he
Hold
might be
on.
able to take it.
How much is this?
Just look at
40
the
rugged,
mats.
40 rugged, and 30 red dragon scale. I mean, that doesn't seem
Those
like
shit
a lot.
is like easy scraps, aren't they? Aren't those
Red
worthless?
dragon.
Pretty sure
Scale.
rugged's
Red-
like 10 silver.
No. Okay. What is it? Is it dragon scale? Wait, is this dragon scale? Dragon scale? No. Am I spelling it wrong?
Red dragon
Okay.
scale chestplate.
Apparently, there is not.
It's not
There is a
red.
black dragon scale. That is
If
not
he
it.
already has the pattern, you don't have to buy it.
I'm just saying. Okay, there's not one currently on the AH. I thought there might be one.
So
hanging out there.
hit Dwarf with a
It doesn't
DM.
look like it. It actually doesn't look like it drops from many people. Or wait, sorry, that's drop. Let me check skin.
Just hit Dwarf with a Discord DM.
It doesn't look like it drops a lot of people. It's your choices are the probably Ubers, and then I guess all those elites in the wetlands. You know that what is that place called? They're all the way on the east.
It's Dun Modra. Oh wait, east? You mean north?
No, not Dunmodra. It's what's that place called on the east of wetlands? Like where all those elite dragons are that you can't get to.
There's
Like there's nothing
dragons?
there. Yeah, you never been there?
The only correct. Yeah, Horde have to go there for their Ani quest.
Yeah, it's a name. I forget what the name is called, and I'm not logged in.
Oh, I can look them. In the wetlands to the east. Oh, I haven't explored there.
Grimbatal.
Yeah, that's it. Grimbatal.
Oh, the Cataclysm place.
Yeah, so I mean, you're gonna need some help, but I mean, it probably isn't that hard to get that. I don't know how often they drop.
He might already have it though.
No.
No, I'm talking about getting the scales. Like people don't
Oh.
probably farm the scales.
Yeah, but look
because
on the auction house. Let's see if we could like.
He
do
did.
scrap.
There was none there.
There's like
Oh.
a scale.
Okay.
I mean,
But I guess
Well, I'm down to run Ubers.
Here's the one thing I'm gonna say to the people in here, and you can maybe say it to other people: is if we join, the best way, like with a loot council, is to do your job. I've never actually. I've always been on the other side, the guild accepting people, and I've been in the role of an officer. And for people coming in and trying to slot them in for loot, if somebody came in and they were performing, as well, if not better, than the people that I already had in my guild, it made it really easy for me to be able to give them gear.
So
That's the thing I'm gonna say to everybody here is don't come in there with a ho hum attitude like, oh well. I mean, my whole intention is I don't like sitting, so I'm gonna come in there. I'm gonna try to make it so if they want one caster off the bench and it's my bench week, I want them to go, yeah, let's bring Pappy. Right?
yeah, so
that's
the way
the way I am.
the way it's worked so far, or I guess the communication that's gone so far, is Sari sent last week's logs, which make me look like shit. But he sent last week's logs, and yeah, like Pappy's saying, the first week they raid with us, they'll probably just be like, huh, and they'll if they see something out of the ordinary, good or bad, they'll probably just type your name in and check your logs from the past 4 months. He's right, but also understand that Sari's going to be on their, he's going to be an officer and he's going to be on their loot council. I might do something. I don't know. I don't know if, I don't want to be on the loot council because I'm not a loot guy, but I just don't know what drops anywhere. Like, I ain't done this shit before.
I'll be honest. I mean,
I don't want to be a bad loot person, so I might as well just not do it. But maybe I'll be an officer,
I
so
would
like,
be interested. I mean, I would be interested in being on their loot council if it helps facilitate a smooth joining of our guild.
It definitely would, because, right, like, a big thing is who shows up every time they're supposed to, right? Like, we have a lot of raids where people sign up but don't show up, or they don't sign up but show up. So when you are trying to pick somebody, you know, all that is a big consideration, but they don't know anything about our guild. You know, they don't know, like, who maybe farms a lot of mats for people, or, you know, who does like things outside of the raid that doesn't show up as literal numbers on a log. They don't know any of that. So that's where, like, us coming in will have to provide that early feedback to say, oh, well, you know, this guy's been in the guild for, okay, for, like, let's use me as an example because it's easy. You could be like, Soul has tanked every raid. Look at his items. It just doesn't make sense for number one a tank, or, you know, really a raider to have no raid drop weapons, right? It's easy to pick me because my gear is really not where it should be, and, you know, that would be taken into consideration. But they wouldn't know that. Like, I can't expect them to know that at all. So that's where, you know, us being on their officer team or us being on their loot council team will have a big impact. But
Yeah, okay, but they shouldn't be cherry picking to start with. Like if we merge, everybody should get at least a shot right away. They shouldn't be cherry picking people in the beginning, or that's
well, no,
kind of
they're,
weird.
they're not gonna cherry pick. But, like, if they ask a question and they're like, between these two people, we have one spot left. They're going down the roster. They're filling 40 people, so they say, okay, we got these 10 people we want. You know, we got 10 people we want. +2, +2, and they keep going back and forth. There's one slot left. What Pappy's saying is, if there's one slot left, who's it go to? Well, it's us and them talking to each other. We don't know anything about their past and maybe a player they want to bring along. They don't know about our player. So it is about the first appearance, but we're going to try to, you know, make that not as big of an issue just by us being present in that discussion. If that was kind of long, but maybe that made sense.
Yeah, well, still, like they shouldn't be filling us in to start with. They've
No,
said
but
they're rotating us. Like
yeah.
like they shouldn't be at the point where we merge and then somebody in our roster who may be at the lower end of a roster sits for like 3 weeks because they're filling in. I mean, I don't think that's
but let's
fair.
say 10 people, it's their sit week, right? Whatever. It's their sit week for the 1 month, but they need someone who is supposed to be sitting to play, right? So, like, you get that scenario?
Yeah, that's what I was going at. Rich,
Yeah.
No, I get that, but like it shouldn't be so. Like, okay, if they need an extra person, they pick you that week. They shouldn't pick you again. They should just rotate another person that didn't
then
raid.
maybe you sit out
Like
a different
they
one.
shouldn't cherry pick the same people to fill a raid because somebody didn't show and leave other members of our guilds waiting for their turn.
Well, yeah, but it's all
Like
about.
we should. I guess what
No.
I'm saying is everybody should get a turn first. Like everybody should raid with them once before somebody raids with them twice, unless it's like a situation where nobody shows up, you know. But like they should never take somebody twice as opposed to taking somebody who hasn't gone.
I'm saying this for long term.
I specifically said I'm saying at the beginning. I don't care about long term. I mean, we're talking about merging Friday.
Well, no, that's what he said, and he had some discussion with Sari about it. I don't know about it, but they had, and that's not to say that's not to say we're merging Friday. That's what Sari just. I mean, maybe.
I don't know. They made it sound like
No,
it was,
but you know what he meant by that. Sari said if all's super well and let's say 100% of people are on board, then, you know, sure, earlier is better. But that doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen on Friday. Like, it seems like it will, right? The consensus is like people are okay with it. The people that showed up tonight seem okay with it.
Okay, so the 5% of our guild that showed up tonight.
Number one, it was not 5%. It was more like 25%.
What? Maybe. I don't think so.
20%. We only have 35 raiders, really. So it's not like we got that big of a.
We got more than that.
The denominator's not
it's just
that
people
big.
don't show.
Well, that's still important. You know, who shows
Yeah,
up
but I'm
to
saying
the
they
mergers
they
is
don't show
important.
like a particular week because they can't or they're absent. But I mean, I don't. People are fairly consistent.
Mm,
I mean, if they were
no,
consistent,
then we'd
then
have
we
a raid
wouldn't be
team.
having this problem.
Yeah, then we'd have a raid team for sure.
Consistent in the sense like they don't take off week after week. Like this week is TK, and and then I don't know. I don't know the numbers.
Yeah, I mean TK, I would definitely agree is a consistent raider. I mean, taking off 1 week,
Well, technically he missed a
and,
week
and
before, like 2 weeks
well,
ago.
whatever. Who cares?
And that's exactly what I'm saying. There's people that have missed a
Yeah.
week or two, but I mean
If-
consistently, if you say how many raiders we've got that have missed a week or two, I think we have close to 40. I mean, we filled 40 not that like a week before or something. Like we've done 40 guild raids.
You know what I'm getting at, though.
I know what you're getting at. I'm just I don't care either way. I like to I like to play the devil's advocate. So I like
know.
to. You guys, if you guys are gonna all hype it up, I'm gonna try to bring in.
I'm not hyping it
may,
up. Because,
I
like
don't
I
know.
said,
I think you're getting.
no, I'm not. I'm not
that.
hyping it up. Like I said this whole time, to me, it's like a necessary. I don't want to say the word evil because it's not evil. I don't know how to word this. It's a necessary action that has to happen so that we can raid. Like, you can't raid with not people. So, you know how I think. I'm like super logic based. If you don't get 40, you don't raid. So 39 is better than 0. So you do 39, right? Like, and I wouldn't take it to the extreme of 1 is greater than 0. I'm not going to say that. But that's how I think about things.
It'll probably be fine because I think if we do merge Friday, I think enough people will quit that we won't have to worry about filling slots as much.
Well, that's just, random.
And that's going to happen,
you
yeah.
won't
I
know.
mean, the raid times are going to force a lot of people out. Not a lot,
For
but
sure. I mean, for everybody, it's an hour and a half, 2 hours later. And they might be able to make it earlier to 1 hour or 1.5 hours earlier. But we got, students, parents, jobs. We got a lot of things going on. And I totally get, I loved when we swapped from 8:30 to 8. I loved it. I also loved when we swapped Sunday, Monday to Wednesday, Thursday. And, we're going to have to kind of go a little bit backwards. And we're going to have to make it later. And we'll have days that, aren't the perfect for me. And, it is what it is. Like, what I always said, and I've told a couple of you guys this, but it's something where, like, for example, if, let's say I had a raid day conflict. Like, I can't do their raid times. I'm not going to, like, override the whole discussion and say we're not doing a merger because I can't make it. I'm not going to do that. It's when it comes to a guild and a guild not being able to fill, it then becomes, how do the most people get the most benefit? And, I feel like Sari would agree with that that's where we're at now, where we can't fill the 40, so it's effectively a 0. I mean, we can, but it's really gonna drop, right? Because Wrath just got released, or not released, my bad, announced.
well, that was no surprise. They didn't give us any dates.
Well, yeah, but no date could even be worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, people could think that it's coming in 3 months or something like that because there is no date. So it could mean December. December would be great for us, right? Because then, SOM would be over by then. But we don't know. So, like, we can't keep going expecting that we're going to lose 0 people and gain people. Because realistically, we've never done that, right? We've never actually gotten over 40. So you can't expect that to keep going halfway through the season. So, being a little bit rational, I guess you could say, but that's not the right word. Being number based. You just look at the numbers and they don't look super high. If that's the word, then yes. You look at the numbers and you got to pick the best choice. And like I was saying before, I don't know anything bad about Girl Talk. I know a lot of people that fuck with me all day, in a bad way. They fuck with me all day from different guilds. But you know, like when they would like send me a message, they're not like, haha, you scumbag. You know? So there's a lot of people on the server, and I've said this from the very start. What is my phrase, Bridget?
I don't know. Let's not play this game.
There's a lot of what people? There's a lot of blank people. What's the word? It starts with a B. It's 3 letters long.
Big.
Oh my goodness.
Bad.
Yes, there's a lot of bad people on the server. You know, World of Warcraft isn't the nicest people. We have a good guild. For the most part, everybody's nice. But a lot of people on the server are not nice. And that's why, like, the comment didn't come off correctly. But me not hearing anything bad about Girl Talk is really good. Because, you know, at least you know they're not bad. So, they could be good people. And the 5 people, or however many they had, seem nice. You know, reasonable people. And Sari says, you know, he ranked with one of them. He knows some of the other ones. They're good people. Some insider info that I wouldn't really spread around. It's probably fine, but, you know, just FYI. Yeah, I don't know what you're saying, Stone. But, you know, Girl Talk helped us out with Elementium bars so we could get Sarius Thunder Fury. They had prior engagements to help us do Onyxia when, like, we weren't able to really field a roster, and there was another thing there where it would benefit them in some way and it would benefit us in a different way. I think it was they didn't need weapons, but they wanted scales, so we could at least kill Onyxia and get weapons and other gear. We wouldn't get the scales, but at least we kill Onyxia, because there was that, you know, month-long period or something where we just didn't fight her because we couldn't do it. We just kept dying, and it felt like people were getting a little bit sad about it. So they've been there, you know, in the past to help us out, you know, and it seems Sari only has good things to say. And right, it doesn't matter what I say. If you trust in Sari and his leadership, he's not throwing the guild in the trash, right?
In Terry we trust.
Yeah, it's like, sure, he wasn't here, you know, this Wednesday or last Wednesday, but that's just because he's on a work trip, and he's been to every other raid. You know, he facilitates. He does so much work. You know, he gets all the people in the guild, except for maybe a couple people, or like a few people, I guess I should say. He just like spends a ton of hours trying to get the roster up to the size, and he said that, you know, it just doesn't seem plausible. So if you believe in the GM, and that's how a lot of guilds are based, right? It's, you know, the GM is kind of the sole leader, and if you hate the GM, you probably leave. And if you like the GM, it gives you, you know, a reason to stay. And can somebody just say something? Like, nobody likes when I ramble, but nobody's saying a word.
I'm watching the stream. They're talking about weed in RC Loot Council, which is about to happen.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna switch over and focus most of my attention on the raid.
Okay, well, I'm gonna watch it. We can stay here and talk about it, if you guys are interested, because I don't like to watch streams alone.
I don't. This
No, there's gonna be
interface
good
is
things you
just
see
so
and bad
bizarre.
things. Let me type this in.
This is how most people, I think, play this game nowadays. It's just not. I play with standard raid frames and stuff, so this is all.
Oh, am I gonna be? Are my eyes gonna hurt? I don't even use the power bars.
Yeah, I use something similar when I used to heal back in Wrath. From what this guy's
We're
using.
watching a Bridget POV.
Well, I mean, I like moving the raid frames into the middle of the screen.
You can do that.
But
Make sure, guys.
yeah,
on
I
the parts
can.
Where you can
I
display
can,
it,
but I've got
some paladins.
yeah,
need to be
I can
picking
do
up these
that, but I've
NPCs.
got all my buttons and stuff are down there.